美国名嘴咆哮美国民众。
场景一
see coming was that the Chinese, the quality and the innovation and everything in China is so high speed. You can't be ignorant to it, so you need to adapt it.
Are there planting seeds all over the world? They've got time, money, resources, and they're a wise and smart country.
They are strong in economics, so yes, I think that China is the next first nation of the world.
And for this you have to know China, you have to go to China, you have to deal with China, you have to speak to China, you have to ask China.
A lot of my electronics are also made in China. Even European brands are made in China.
This gap between German quality work and quality products and this kind of perception of rather fast Chinese economy with maybe less quality-driven production. I think that's kind of like the gap, and that would need to be.
场景二
¿Tienen idea cuál es la cifra de la población de China?
1.000 millones, algo así. Pero. Y pico, son pa.
1.300.000 y pico. Sí.
Es un montón. Acá somos 44 millones. O sea, somos nada.
China.
场景三
They have outgrown the United States, and the United States has to figure out how to live with this, but seems to prefer to smash it down. It has not worked. Mr. Trump failed, and I don't see one iota of a chance that Mr. Biden, who's following in Trump's footsteps, will do any better. That over the last 30 years, it became possible to buy your clothing, your appliances, major components of everything that we have much more cheaply than would otherwise have been the case, because production took place in China and the prices that they could charge and still make money were much lower. It has benefited the standard of living. It gave China a chance to industrialize what was a mutually beneficial system, and are shifting, first under Trump and now apparently under Biden, to this aggressive posture, which I can assure you around the world looks like it's the United States bitter that
场景四
Is that China ain't like us. I don't mean there's nothing in common. I don't mean we're not part of humanity. But its historical development is so different. And you've got to remember, that we're very recent compared with China. I mean, China is the longest continuously existing polity in the world. Going back, arguably, it's one of the first, first settled with the fertile crescent, the first settled agriculture in the world. So China has a very, very long history, and maybe instead of people being surprised about China's rise now, this is the wrong way of looking at it. What we should be surprised about, maybe, is not the period since 1978, but what the hell went wrong between 1800 and 1949. Because for most of the rest of the thousands of years of Chinese history, it was arguably one of, and often the most advanced country in the world.
场景五
Second-hand, 30-year-old trains, second-hand and substandard. Right. Well, you feel very strongly, obviously, and it's something wherever we go in the country, we're hearing these complaints about our transport structure. Isabel Oakeshott.
Well, totally not. I mean, as a hard-pressed commuter who suffers daily on substandard train services, that absolutely can't be right. And I was looking into this earlier and just wondering, for the sake of argument, how the Chinese do these things. And I noticed that they were able to build a whole new station in the space of 9 hours by flooding it with thousands of workers. We should be much more imaginative about getting infrastructure in quickly instead of condemning people to being isolated in remote areas.
Well, and I shared a taxi coming here, and the commentary I can tell you in the taxi was that the roads looked better than the area where we were living in England. I'm delighted to hear it, but I have to say to you, it was much better than in Buckinghamshire. But everybody in their own area complains, and the truth is, our road repairs have been very, very bad, and it's deteriorating. And yes, austerity has prevented expenditure on all sorts of things that we could need to spend money on. But equally, if we cannot...
场景6
of living in fear. Petty crime, serious crime, indiscriminate crime was a problem in my country. And I heard other YouTubers talk about, China is the safest place in the world that I was telling you about. The sense of safety comes from that freedom of fear. Everybody talks about the different examples. You can walk around in the middle of the night, man or woman, and feel safe. I can leave my car unlocked and not worry, my God, what's going to happen if I park here? In my country, for example, if you park by the roadside, you need to check all your mirrors. Make sure that nobody's following.
场景7
The technology, they've got the elements. China is the technological future of the world, as well as Australia.
Which country do you think will lead us into the future of tech?
Probably China.
China.
Chinese and Finland.
场景8
En ese tema, es lo que más me llama la atención de ese país. Sí, en parte de tecnología, casi todo lo que tenemos es de ustedes.
¿Y cuál es la marca más famosa de los celulares que he hecho en China?
En Venezuela.
场景9
Video, I'm going to go ahead and share with you some of the first impressions that I've noticed and pretty much let you glimpse into the life that I'm living here in Suzhou. Let's start this video. So before we dive into it, I just want to talk a little bit about where I am. The city that I'm living in currently is called Suzhou. It's about a 2-hour drive or a 30-minute bullet train ride away from Shanghai.
With over 10 million people, Suzhou is one of the most popular tourist destinations in China, but I'll save that for another video.
So a few impressions that I've had so far of China, one being the people are super friendly. I feel there is a stereotype that Chinese people might be considered rude or pushy, and I haven't experienced any of that yet here in China. Everyone is very accommodating and very friendly. Also, the area I'm living in China is very modern.
场景10
China is becoming the next superpower.
Do you think in the future, can China replace the status of the United States?
Can they replace the United States?
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Oh, the status?
What makes you think that, yeah?
I just think that they're so far ahead of us technology-wise, it's crazy.
Do you like China?
I have nothing against them. Honestly, I have some Chinese friends, but I've never been to China, so I can't say I like the country, but I'm sure it's a beautiful country. I'd love to go there maybe one day.
And do you think in the future, can China replace the status of United States?
I'd like to see better relations between them.
Oh, that's the best answer, yeah. We like to see the more peaceful, right?
Absolutely. Business-wise also, trade-wise. Obviously, the economy there must be booming, so...
do you like the Chinese here, or...?
场景11
Chinese! Ni hao ma! Shi xing ni! Chinese!
It's too late. It's too late to learn Chinese. It's over. No, it's true. It's true because it's also one of the hardest languages in the world. I mean, how do you learn Chinese now? Just they've got over 10,000 characters in the alphabet. You know this? 10,000 characters. We've got 26 in English, and there's still people going, "What comes after Q?" 26. This is 10,000 they've got. That's super smart. Although they must have the worst Sesame Street in the world. It must suck being a Muppet in that country. I can just see them on a Monday morning singing to the kids. 西跑冲上西送西从房间从朝西。
场景12
我跟他说爸，我要学中文，他说别了，他说不要，然后后来我就坚持了。但是后来现在是我爸最支持我在中国，也因为他看了我之前的找的朋友，他也觉得特别好。我妈现在是非常的希望 我能回去。但是我今年有一个规划哈，我今年我想，因为我妈特别喜欢种地种菜，然后特别对有机的菜感兴趣，所以我想在北京附近找一个农场，然后有很多比如说也有外国人在帮助，就是参与这个农场，然后我想在那里给他找一份工作，这样他一过来他就有一些英国的说英文的朋友，然后也可以慢慢的融入这个社会。但是这个是秘密，还不要告诉他。这是我的计划。
这后面是爸爸。
这是爸爸啊，这是爸爸。Hello, Dad。
哎，你看这么看的话，那个妹妹确实长得像爸爸。再回忆一下刚才那张照片，
鼻子，注意鼻子，
鼻子眼睛那个地方真的是
对，
一模一样。
其实我爸他就他来中国，他是第一次来中国是3年之前。他来中国之前不是特别支持，但是他和我后母来到了中国之后，他跟我所有的朋友见面了，他就特别。
场景13，
还挺安全的，
挺安全的呀。
街口都有好几个摄像头。
There's not a lot of aggression in China.
中国不能公开持有枪支弹药。
Every time you want to take a train in China, you have to pass a security check.
像地铁这方面可能还要加强一下。
People are very kind and you can ask them anything. Maybe they will not speak the language.
场景14，
是在读研还是在工作？我就问他们，你们想不想回自己的国家？他们的回答呢是不想。可是为什么呢？我们一起来看看吧。众所周知，近几年来，中国的经济越来越好，实力成为世界第2大的经济体。其次呢，对外国人来说，中国呢，向世界各国提供了很多工作和学习的机会。这就是为什么呢，越来越多的外国人想去中国工作和留学。加上呢，中国呢对英语的掌握越来越好，甚至超过了很多外国的国家。现在呢，也很注重小语种国家的交流。这就是为什么呢，很多大公司。
场景15，
围上来喊，来。Taxi！ 当时我们已经坐了20多个小时的飞机，都不知道这些人是从哪里冒出来的。
当时我就慌了。
当时的西安真的到处人都超级多，哪都很吵，非常有生活气息。来之前我知道中国的兵马俑，但是不知道就在西安。到的第一天，我们挤了公交，我老家人特别少，所以我第一次知道原来公交是需要挤的。当时车上所有的空气都张成了人，我和另外2个没见过世面的朋友就是这个表情。
Many months later,
a good relation to China because in the past we did not have the best relation to the rest of the world, so it's really good to catch up.
China is going more opening and the US are going closer, so it is a chance for Germany and China to work closer together.
Well, the same thing that they're doing with Germany, investing in building, they're doing in Latin.
场景16，
而且现在雾霾这么重，德国空气很好的呀。
是的，是的，但是因为中国嘛，它是从小我热爱的一个地方，我最热爱中国的民族文化和电影和音乐的。后来我小时候就看中国的少林功夫，后来也看中国的成龙的所有的电影。后来我12岁通过中国的电影，用中文德语字典学会了中文。自学的，完全自学的。我说中国醒来了，全世界会发抖。这个时候，没人相信中国会是未来的，没有人知道的。我们德国太严谨啊，在中国我觉得很放松，就是很开心。后来我老早住在石库门啊。就邻居都会关心我的呀，就不自私的呀。
我想问一下那个谭雅丽，聊了半天，妈妈咪呀舞台一定是有妈妈级别才能来，
是
你是妈妈吗？
场景17
commuter who suffers daily on substandard train services. That absolutely can't be right. And I was looking into this earlier and just wondering, for the sake of argument, how the Chinese do these things. And I noticed that they were able to build a whole new station in the space of 9 hours by flooding it with thousands of workers. We should be much more imaginative about getting infrastructure in quickly instead of condemning people to being isolated in remote areas.
shared a taxi coming here, and the commentary I can tell you in the taxi was that the roads looked better than the area where we were living in England. I'm delighted to hear it, but I have to say to you, it was much better than in Buckinghamshire. But everybody in their own area complains, and the truth.
场景18
Poverty Reduction Plan. Now, by the end of 2020, the country achieved its goal of lifting nearly 100 million people out of poverty over the previous 8 years. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. And I've been lucky enough to visit many of the places that have seen huge improvements as a result of this plan. This place was once known as a Pinkwinton or a poverty village. It's not anymore. It's been pulled out of poverty. It's been absolutely transformed. 比去年漂亮多了. I've seen firsthand how provinces in the east are helping out poorer provinces and regions in the west, providing talent. Preview.